deal is final. The Spurs will send Kawhi Leonard and Danny Green to the Raptors for DeMar DeRozan, Jakob Poeltl, and a 2019 first-round pick. League sources tell me the Raptors and Spurs are getting on a trade call with the league office momentarily to finalize the deal.
So Kawhi Leonard has finally been traded. Thank God. I was so tired of hearing all these rumors and stuff like that. I just wanted it to be gotten out of the way of. But man, we are here to discuss this, so let's get into it for the winners and losers of this Kawhi Leonard trade. The Toronto Raptors, winners. Now, when it comes to Toronto, everybody is looking at this as why would they trade their best player for a player that is on a one-year rental and a spot-up 3-and-D player in Danny Green. Now, look, I understand everybody's complaints when it comes to that in that sense, but you also have to consider this. Look, DeMar DeRozan is a solid player, but he was never going to be the best player on a team that could even reach the finals. Bottom line, Toronto is better today than they were yesterday. And in my opinion, I think they are at least the second best team in the Eastern Conference after Boston. And people are still going to say it's a one-year rental, but the window in Toronto is closing. They had to let go of DeMar DeRozan one way or another, and getting Kawhi Leonard can maximize them getting to the NBA Finals. And if they get to the Finals and could get a game or two off of Golden State, they could manage to convince Kawhi Leonard to stay. I mean, that's a winning scenario, and I personally don't see Kawhi Leonard leaving something like that, because we just saw Paul George stay in Oklahoma because he thinks that he could win. So what's stopping Kawhi Leonard from doing the exact same thing? A lot of things can happen in 1 year. Nothing is certain in the NBA. A lot of people thought that DeMar would go to LA, but that never happened. He re-signed in Toronto. A lot of people thought Aaron Gordon could possibly go to the Lakers, but he stayed in Orlando, maybe because of the money, but still, he stayed. No one has guarantees on anything in the NBA, and we need to realize that with Kawhi Leonard going to Toronto and Toronto trading DeMar DeRozan for a one-year rental. The San Antonio Spurs, winners. Now, to be honest, I had to think about this for a little bit, because even though the Spurs are winners, they did lose a little bit in this scenario, because we have to look at all sides and all aspects of this trade, whether it's the fit, whether it's the contracts, whether it's relationships. All that comes into factor when you're looking at a trade or a signing or a move in the NBA. So when you look at the Spurs getting DeMar DeRozan and also getting Poeltl and a pick, that's not bad when you look at what they're giving up in Kawhi Leonard and Danny Green. Look, the thing about the Spurs that makes me say sort of is the fit. Because even though DeMar is one of the better players in the league and one of the best two guards in the NBA, he is still not someone who can shoot the three ball at a good level. And look, last year was an anomaly for him. Who's to say that that's going to happen for the rest of his career? And when you look at the pieces around him, it doesn't get any better either. You also have someone like DeJounte Murray, who's not a great three-point shooter, though he is a solid defender, or should I say a great defender, because he made the second team All-NBA defense. When you look at someone like that who's not a great three-point shooter, you also have Pau Gasol, who statistically is good from three, but he's attempting less than 2 3-pointers a game. That's going to have to up next year. You also have LaMarcus Aldridge, who in my opinion excels well as a first option, but when he goes to the second option, he doesn't really like it, and he may not be as good as a second option. Now, I will say that having Greg Popovich as the coach is a big boost for this team, and it is much needed. But we don't even know how long he's going to be coaching, and with LeBron James in the Western Conference, hey, DeMar, you're gonna have to go against him still, and that's your boogeyman. And look, I understand that DeMar is one of the better players, but he is a little overrated, and a lot of fans need to stop jumping to conclusions that he's a superstar. He's not a superstar. He has to still prove it in the playoffs, and in the playoffs, he shrinks. And now they have 2 chokers in the playoffs, LaMarcus Aldridge and DeMar DeRozan. But despite all of that, still, they were able to get one of the better players in the league for a longer period of time than they would have had Kawhi Leonard under contract at that period of time. So at the end of the day, that is still a W for this team. But I'm going to have to keep that asterisk, and we don't know for sure how it's going to work out. So look, San Antonio, you got a lot to fix next season. Hopefully you can get it together. DeMar DeRozan, loser. Now, personally, I like DeMar DeRozan. I don't think he's a bad player. I don't think he's somebody that's trash. I do believe he's overrated, but at the end of the day, he is one of the better players and one of the better two guards in the NBA, and him adding a three-point shot last year definitely opened up his game. But with teams like the Boston Celtics coming up and them going to the Eastern Conference Finals without their two best players and taking the Cavs to 6 games with LeBron James, and also teams like Philly and who knows what Milwaukee would do, and even look at Indiana. Indiana is a solid team coming up with players like Sabonis and Oladipo not even in their primes. With those teams coming up having better players than players in Toronto, let's be real here. DeMar DeRozan had really reached his ceiling with this team, and that ceiling was getting them to the Eastern Conference Finals, and they couldn't even do that last year. This is a team that definitely needed to move on from the DeMar DeRozan and Kyle Lowry era, and they can't really trade Kyle Lowry. Who knows what they can really get for him because he is an older point guard with a big contract, so they had to move DeMar instead of Kyle Lowry. And Dwayne Casey's already gone, and that was the first step of moving on from that era. So look, I understand that DeMar DeRozan, look, you were loyal, and people applaud you for that. I think that's stupid, but people will applaud you for that. You get those brownie points. But look what being loyal has gotten you. You could have gone to LA when you were in free agency, but you decided to stay in Toronto, and it may have been for the money, and I'm not going to hate on you for that. But look, this is what it got you. It got you to go to the West, where you're not going to get all-star appearances, you're not going to get all-NBA appearances, you're not going to get a lot of accolades, and your numbers are going to go down. Hence, you may not even make the Hall of Fame, which is sad and it sucks, but that's the NBA and that's the Western Conference. And he is a huge loser in this scenario, though they may even win 50 games next year if all things go well and Greg Popovich coaches this team the way we expect Greg Popovich to coach. But at the end of the day, DeMar DeRozan is not where he wants to be. He is getting paid, but he's not getting accolades, and it sucks. He has to be the biggest loser of this trade and possibly the biggest loser as a player throughout the entire offseason. Kawhi Leonard, winner. Now, Kawhi Leonard has to be the biggest winner of this entire offseason. He left San Antonio, he's gotten out of that toxic situation in his opinion, and he is on a team that he's not wasting a year. We assume he'll be an all-star and probably will start, actually most definitely will start if he performs at the level that we expect him, and if he comes back even better, he could possibly make the first team All-NBA. This is a guy who is in a situation that is perfect for him. Though he may leave in free agency, that does not matter to him. He didn't even care about getting the Supermax in San Antonio. So at the end of the day, Kawhi Leonard, he didn't care about the money. He didn't care about where he was going to go. He just wanted to get out of San Antonio. And though LA was his #1 destination, he's still in a winning scenario and away from the San Antonio Spurs. That alone makes him the biggest winner not only of this trade, but of the entire offseason. He got everything he wanted except the destination, and it's not that big of a deal because it's 1 year away from going there. So Kawhi Leonard, he's the biggest winner of this transaction and the biggest winner of the offseason. So that concludes this video. Y'all let me know in the comment section what you thought about this trade. If you think I left anything out, let me know in the comments. Hit that like button, also subscribe, and hit the bell next to my name to be notified after each and every video. Follow me on Twitter and definitely follow me on Instagram. I'm trying to be as active as I possibly can on there. This is your boy signing out. Y'all have a great day. Peace.